What's happening, guys? This is Adi back with a third deep dive in 3 days. I'm also repping my Olympiacos hat. Pumped to get continue to do this for you guys. Thank you all for the messages, by the way. Everyone that's been sending messages, giving me feedback on the deep dive. I am well and good. I know you guys are worried about burnout, but I'm still feeling the energy. I'm loving life and I'm enjoying doing all of these deep dives. I'm enjoying getting into all of the signings that Olympiacos is making this summer. Before we go on to the deep dive that we have for you today, don't forget, guys, to like and subscribe. Help us continue to grow the community. Big stuff is coming. Keep an eye out for the Patreon information. A lot of great stuff is happening on this channel, giving you the best analysis that we can for the club that we love, Olympiacos. Analysis you don't get from any other channel, any other media, whether it's in Greece or outside. So help us continue to grow the community and grow the discussion about our favorite club, Olympiacos. Now, without further ado, everyone, we're here doing the latest signing for Olympiacos. Moroccan forward Ayoub El Kaabi. This is the scouting report for him. 30-year-old left-footed forward, also has played winger on occasion. 6 foot, 182 centimeters, 76 kilogram or 167 pounds. Big boy. Signing a lot of these big boys in this transfer window. Some of you may know he spent most of last season in Turkey until he actually went to Qatar to play in the Qatari Stars League in March of this year. He's never played in a top league outside of Turkey, that is. So the Turkish league is we'll say the highest level of competition that he's played in. And then he spent some time in, of course, the Moroccan league as well as the Qatari league. Now, this signing, along with Borozo, the center back, the Ecuadorian center back, and Alexandropoulos, has you guys excited. I'm glad. The first three signings, nobody was really excited about. You guys were down because of how old they were. And these three signings that have just come in, you guys are excited about. And he has been hyped. We've been seeing the hype already in the media, calling him the next Youssef El Arabi. And while he is Moroccan and he did pretty well when he played in the Qatari Stars League, the similarities kind of end there. We'll get into that as, of course, we go through all of the data, but I think we need to pump the brakes on this just a little bit. As far as the player's profile, he's an okay ball carrier, but nothing that I would consider too special. I would consider him pretty average. His control is not incredibly tight. I'm not saying that it's heavy. He keeps it around him, but it's not as tight as a player like Youssef El Arabi, for example. Covers a lot of ground, though, and he makes a lot of runs into spaces. Poacher elements, while dangerous in stride with when he's got space. That's for sure. So let's get into the data. I know you guys are excited for it. I know you're ready for it. So take a look at the data, and then here's the context. We'll start with goal creation, like we always do. Most importantly, because he's a forward, this will probably be one of the most important aspects of his character profile. So his overall goal production is not super impressive. You guys can see there right down in the bottom. That's the goal creation area. Goals per 90 is not, this is non-penalty as always. He's sitting right above the 50% mark. Not exactly what you want to see. Maybe you're hoping for a little bit more. And although the goal production itself isn't impressive, the opportunity volume that he gets is, especially given how the team he played for, Hatayspor, did not have an incredible number of attack opportunities or shot opportunities for that matter. So when you see that and you know that the volume starts off low because of the team that he's playing in, the fact that his overall volume in XG is higher, on above average, we'll say, it leads us to believe that a better production is not just sustainable, but achievable at Olympiacos. Many of his most dangerous opportunities did come in stride, whether it was on a counter or if the ball was getting played behind the defender. Context for that type of goal or those types of opportunities will not be as prevalent in Greece because you guys know the defenses are going to be playing more behind the box. But he still is aggressive with anything that comes his way in the box. Shot power isn't the strongest, but his placement is quite good. He did have quite a few goals in Qatar and Turkey that I don't think he's going to get away with, at least in Europe. But we could see some of those similar types of goals in context, deflections off of the goalkeeper, or something maybe in Greece. Assist creation almost every time was in the form of just a 5-meter lateral pass next to him in the penalty area. Keeper gets drawn out. He plays the ball next to him to his teammate. I don't think he's going to see a whole lot of those situations, especially the ones that come in stride when defenders are chasing him. Again, defenses parked the bus against us, so I don't think we'll see a lot of that. But I did see plenty of attempts, especially off of set pieces, where the ball would go across the goal mouth. He would play it across, that is, and no one's able to finish it. That explains why you see such a high expected assist metric there. So he does create opportunities, and he underperformed his expected assist, not by any fault of his own, but through the fact that his players were not making those opportunities. So whereas maybe the goal threat is not as impressive, the fact that the volume of opportunities for both goals and assists is impressive, and I think does give us hope, especially with Olympiacos, who will have more opportunities on the goal mouth, that we could see that production not just increase, but be sustainable as well. Um, he did have a knack for slipping a ball past a defender or two, who thought that he was taking a shot. Um, we'll see. I expect we'll see more assists in Greece under that type of context, um, especially when defenses are kind of packed closely in, not the ones where he's in stride. Up next, of course, is as always we see the build-up. The build-up section, of course, is in the top of the chart here that you guys can see, and even by forward standards, it's not that impressive. He's not very involved in build-up, or at least he wasn't when he was in Turkey. You did see the occasional check back to receive the ball, maybe to pull a defender forward as well. He's certainly going to be required to do that under Diego Martinez, 100%. So expect more of that when he's playing for Olympiacos. The movement that he has off the ball is good overall. He does prefer to run by defenders to receive a long ball or a ball through them. He does link up well with the midfielders, quick 1-2 touch pass and move when he does check in, even though it wasn't very often, but he does do it and he does do quite well. Um, whether he likes it or not, he's going to be required to do more of the check back. So I hope that as a player, he's prepared for that, because that's what Martinez is going to want him to do, to assist in possession. He covers ground and build up, has the same moves that he likes to reuse, where you'll see him kind of either feint one way, and then with the same foot he feints with, he'll drag the ball back, or he'll kind of kick the ball out to the side with his right foot, and then use that same foot to kind of drag it back across him. You'll see that move a lot. Pass accuracy is average, especially compared to forwards that are in Turkey. He does have a heavy touch at times, uh, required to make a lot of long passes, which kind of accounts for some of that long pass, or I should say that overall pass accuracy in the mid 70th percentile. But he didn't have a lot of teammates around him in those cases, so there's a little bit of context. He also has a tendency to take an extra step before making a pass, which can see a defender closing in and getting the foot in to make a deflection. So I don't expect this player to be progressing the ball forward very much, but rather running into space as an outlet, presenting for maybe a 1-2 touch give and go, or just to pull a defender forward. I don't expect us to see, at the very least, kind of the things that we see from a Youssef El Arabi. Up next, we have the defensive traits for the player. And when it comes to offensive players, guys, I say this all the time. What we care about is his ability to track back. And as you can see here, the defensive ability overall is right about average. The important takeaway, he does track back. He covers a lot of ground. He tracks back. He presses, commits to defense on set pieces, which is definitely valued by Diego Martinez. You can see here in terms of shots blocked, he's up there in the 80th percentile compared to other forwards and wingers in Turkey. He does not draw a lot of fouls as well, which is something that you like to see. I mean, he drew some of the least of fouls per 90 compared to other forwards and wingers in Greece. So you do like to see that. Not that great in the air, though, I will say. So don't expect a lot of headers, whether it's on set pieces or otherwise. He will clean up usually what comes off of a rebound. This goes both for the defensive end and the offensive end. You won't see him get a lot of headers, but he'll get into the chaos in these scrums when there's a loose ball after a free kick. He'll get involved there, whether it's playing the ball to somebody else across the goal mouth or scoring the goal off of that. Same thing on the defensive end. Chaos after the ball gets played in, you will see this guy cleaning that up. Now, it's at this point in the scouting report where we move on from the general player profile and the data, the percentile data from his league, and we look at the comparison. So, the comparison I have for you guys today is to Youssef El Arabi. Since the media has been hyping this player as the next El Arabi, I thought it was appropriate to go ahead and do this comparison. And I did it because I wanted you guys to see, and I kind of talked about it before. I hinted at it already. He is not another Youssef El Arabi, and I don't like that comparison that's being made. I'm not saying I don't like the player. I want that to be clear. El Arabi, as a player, has much tighter ball control. He is a better dribbler. He has better shot conversion, and he's just generally better when it comes to on the ball characteristics. When we brought him in, those characteristics were also in much higher degrees than we see from the likes of El Kaabi. So when we're discussing the comparison of the two, El Arabi had played in Europe. He played in Spain. He also lit the Qatari Stars League up. Anywhere he went, this guy scored goals. El Arabi was much more of a sure thing when we saw him coming in than El Kaabi is. Now, what El Kaabi has that El Arabi doesn't have is mobility. And I know you don't see that in the radar plot here. There's not really a measure for that. But El Kaabi can cover a lot more ground. He also has a higher shot volume than El Arabi, even though El Arabi's web is larger. The reason El Arabi's web is larger in this is because in Greece, despite the fact that El Arabi has less shot volume than El Kaabi, he's in a higher percentile in Greece than El Kaabi is. Doesn't always happen that way, but in this case it is. So I just want you guys to be aware of that little discrepancy. Um, and as I mentioned in previous scouting reports, since Olympiacos is on the ball more when it comes to shot opportunities, I do believe we will see El Kaabi have an increase in a lot of these statistics that you see. I do believe that that's the case, as I believed it was the case for some of the things with other players. He'll be more involved in possession, so we'll see those numbers go up. He'll have more opportunities. He'll probably outshine El Arabi in some of these non-penalty shot opportunities. Where I do not think he will have the same level of success as Youssef El Arabi is in the goal and shot conversion. El Arabi and Cedric Bakambu last season were immense in this respect. El Arabi, even in a down year, is still good, can still convert great opportunities and get them on frame. He certainly will not, I mean, especially at 30 years old, he is not going to have the close controllability of Youssef El Arabi, but I don't think people will be frustrated at the fact that he stands still. Much of the time, we were frustrated with El Arabi, his lack of movement and mobility. But I have to say, guys, competition will be tough. El Arabi looks much better, much more like his old self in this preseason. Can he keep that up? We'll see. But at least early on, El Arabi is going to be a probably for me the shoe in as at least the early starter. So, all of that being said, the comparison, looking at the player's attributes and his general profile, what is the verdict? Well, he's a free transfer, and he's not an overly expensive one. So that makes this another low risk signing. As I mentioned kind of briefly earlier, I don't see this player coming in as a starter right away. I just don't see it for the reasons that I mentioned. El Arabi's preseason form, plus what you guys are seeing here, and he's already kind of trained under Diego Martinez early on for that reason. I think El Arabi is going to get the nod most of the time. Um, Also, just the fact that El Arabi, even in a down year, just has a stronger skill set as it stands. And I wanna reiterate that I don't think El Kaabi is going to be a dud for us. I don't think he's going to be a palto for some of you. Maybe that is a clearer way of saying what I'm trying to say. But I'm just not convinced we're going to see Youssef El Arabi 2.0. I'm not. I think the player is a little bit overhyped, and I think we're forgetting what Youssef El Arabi offered us in his first 2 seasons here. Hell, I think a lot of us forget what he offered us even in the down season last season. So in the end, if he's brought in to back up Youssef El Arabi and we've got Al Simba as another option, I am happy with the signing because I do think that he will offer us something. The high press, his intensity, which we will need for European matches. Depending on the type of look, the type of tactics Diego Martinez uses, he will use this guy for those types of approaches. Um, El Arabi, though, in the end, is going to be the main goal threat. So if we brought this guy in to be our day in, day out starter, I am concerned. If we brought him in as an alternate, as a backup for a 37-year-old Youssef Al Arabi, then I am okay. I am okay with this. So all in all, guys, just to be clear, I do like the signing. I want that to be clear. I like the signing. I think that given the position that the club is in, it's a frugal signing. It is a smart signing in a way. I just don't believe that he is Youssef El Arabi 2.0 because I think we are only setting this player up for disappointment by saying that he is the next Youssef El Arabi. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this deep dive. I hope I gave you more insight on this player. I don't want you to be not excited about this player. I just want your expectations to be tempered because when we have such high hopes for a player that we call him Youssef El Arabi 2.0, all that does is lead us to prepare us for disappointment. So, bear in mind what I've told you. He has a skill set that will be used. He's just not Youssef El Arabi. That's all I'm trying to say. So, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me on socials. I love engaging with you guys. I've said it multiple times. You know it. So, please reach out. Always happy to chat. Thank you guys again for your concerns. The wellness checks are very much appreciated. We'll see when the next signing comes in. We'll see if Marquinhos is going to make it in here or if I'm going to get a break after 3, 4 straight days of scouting reports and data analysis. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. This is Gate 7 International by the fans for the fans, giving you the best content, not just for Olympiacos, but for Greek football as well. My name is Adi, and until next time, we'll see you.